That was crazy. What's up, Robyn?
Howdy doody.
How are you? How are you, ma'am?
I am just fine. I am so stoked for this game.
I am too. We apologize. I have put the wrong music, so we are back. Apologies again. But let's try. Take two. This is Tea Time with Robyn. I am T. She is Robyn. We are here. It is Ravens week. But before we get into Ravens week, we have to go backwards just a little bit to give you our takes on
the Denver game.
And the Denver thought, we heard you fans, and we are fans. So we don't know nothing. We just know we wanted what we wanted. What's up, Sandra? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. You were calling for the Buffalo Bills. We want Buffalo. Stop it. You wanted Buffalo? I don't know if you really wanted us. You started well. Came out the block. 7 points. Pew!
Yeah.
Robyn, I didn't even see
of us had a little bit of panic in our hearts when that happened.
I didn't see it. I was coming out of the kitchen into the living room and I was like, what happened? Okay. Let's start over again. So, and that's the only points they scored, guys. So
crazy 30 game in a lot of ways.
Right. 31-7. They came out, punched Buffalo in the mouth. Buffalo said, okay, all right, hold on. Hold on. Beer. And if you didn't listen to our last pod, I wanted the Bills to take the ball first, and it didn't work out. They didn't take it. But before we get into this game a little bit, there's somebody that Robyn wants to talk to. And a guy should have talked to Robyn about this game and about Denver versus Buffalo. I think they are Cowboy State Daily.
Cowboy State Daily. And come on. They are honestly one of the best news outlets in 4 states here in this part of the country. And they did a wonderful little article about Wyoming fans and how their loyalties are divided because of Josh Allen. And some really diehard Denver fans have become Buffalo Bills fans, literally. Now, it's like they don't give up being Broncos fans, but they watch all the Bills games. They cheer for the Bills. They're the greatest bandwagon fans we could ever hope. Hey, I just had to put that in.
Gotcha.
So that's what happened. And they did this wonderful article and nobody consulted me. 30 years ago when I moved here, I was the only real Bills fan in the whole state.
So you're one of the originators.
Oh my God. Now everybody's got 17 jerseys on and I go Bills everywhere I go. And I live
there. I live there. I know the land. I know the people. Those are my people.
My people. These are my people. I was born there. I was raised there. And so now I do have to add this because you'll love it. I had a little chat group going during the playoff game.
Oh, yeah?
With some of my local friends who are Denver Broncos fans.
Last game?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And like a little chat group going. And with my friends, because they all thought, oh, well, you're going to get upset because we got a team and we got Sean Payton and the same stuff that they were yelling. Hi, Robbie. So they yelled all they wanted. And when the touchdown you're talking about that happened right in the beginning of the game, oh, everybody was all over my case. It was like, woo, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. So it went on a lot until about halftime. And then when the Bills took the thing in drive, they all poof. I never heard from them.
Again. Yeah. I mean, it happens. If they haven't watched a single Bills game, the Bills seem to fall asleep in the first 2 quarters. Like
it's been it's been a problem. I want to say a problem because to some extent it is a problem that it seems like it takes the defense till halftime and Bobby makes adjustments and his adjustments are like on the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Most part, I think that his adjustments have been on the mark all season long. But you're right. And I don't know if that's a function of the scheme, whatever, that they start out slow, or it's just the players themselves. They come out and they're just in autopilot or what. I don't know. But you cannot afford to do that against the Ravens. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure. But let's get into it because some takeaways from this game.
Yes.
It was I guess for me, and I know for a bunch of fans, it's the one and done like games, right? After this, that is it. You can't fathom not watching your team play anymore. Right. So it's not so much it's the nervous energy. I don't really think about the loss because I'm like, we have Josh Allen and we have an offense that can move the ball. So I don't even go to the loss. Like, I didn't think the Bills were going to lose this game. I was just tired of people talking about the game, to be quite honest, because it was like, if there's any upset during this wild card weekend, it could potentially be the Bills and the Broncos.
It was said repeatedly, and I understand it. Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix is a very good quarterback. I think he's going to Hi Amber.
Hi Amber, good morning.
I think he's going to be very good. Bo Nix. And this game for me, I was a little nervous about because, anybody that knows me knows that I dwell in the mental, right? Like the mental part of this game. The advantage to me was the Broncos had a big advantage because nobody expected anything out of them.
Yeah, I get that.
They're in a position where there was
nothing to lose.
Thank you. That's exactly right. They played like they had nothing to lose. In my mind, I'm thinking that's heavy, right? Like the Bills have something on them. They got to go out there and beat them. If they got beat in the wild card round this year, even though nothing was expected of the Bills, it would be a big disappointment.
And let's stay there. And then we're gonna talk about the game because I see you guys' comments. And yes, James Cook had a great game. Let's stay there. That going into the season, and now all Bills fans have heard this, going to the season, no number one, no Diggs, no da-da-da-da-da-da. It's a retooling. Going into this season, it was a retooling because the dead cap, we couldn't get, quote unquote, a number two. What are we going to do on the offensive side of the ball? I mean, we still had those pieces on the defense, even though, our defense, it's up and down. But the offense side of the ball, what is Josh going to do? Can he elevate this room? We have a bunch of 2s and 3s. That's not going to get them anywhere. Now they're second seed. Now they won. They could have won 14 games, but they took that game off and they lost 13. They have 13 wins in a retooling season. Now going into this game against Denver, they're like, they should win this game, but
should is the word.
Right. But if any team can knock them off, it can be the number one defense in the NFL can do it. Because they haven't faced a defense like this all season long. Like, it was a lot. And so when you say that the Bills should win, but the whole season they were anticipating the Bills to have this fall-off season. So I'm not saying for you, but commentators, ESPN people, like, step up, whatever your names are on shows. What side of the fence are you on? Like, is it a retooling season? Are we finishing third? Oh, now we're in the playoffs. Oh, they're surprising everybody. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. But this game, James Cook, yes, John, 120 yards. He had 4.8 a yard in this game.
4.8 yards per carry is, you win the game. If you average 4.8 yards per carry, you win the game.
Yeah.
The transformation, I will add this. Thanks, John. And hi, John. Glad to see you.
Hey, John.
James Cook, his transformation has been impressive to me this year because he has taken his game to a new level.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this on other pods. It's partly because, and you can really see it, he has built up his legs.
Mm-hmm.
He has built up his legs because he was pushing the pack to get that touchdown that he got.
But not even that, Robyn. His vision is better.
Yes. Yes. And I don't know if that's the function of, it may have something to do with Aaron Cromer working with him in terms of helping him to be able to see the holes the offensive line is trying to make. Some of it is just maturation. You know, some of it is he's also more comfortable. And okay, you know, I'm going to go into the head again. But James Cook, when he first came to the Bills, was more quiet than Matt Milano.
Mm-hmm.
You could hardly get him to say more than 2 words at a time. And if he was interviewed, it was always very short answers, no eye contact, that sort of thing. If you look at him now, he smiles, he's confident, he's high-fiving his teammates, he's more emotionally engaged. And I don't know what to attribute that to other than his confidence is feeling good. He might be, I don't know this, but he might be a little introverted by nature, but he's obviously much more comfortable within his own skin now than he ever has been since he's been with the Bills.
Yeah. And also too, I love the fact that maybe when you have a combination of three running backs in that room, James Cook is fresh. Going into the playoffs, now he's fresh. Fresh legs.
Exactly.
Like you said, push the pile. Like you said, Sandra, they pushed him 15 more yards. Like it
was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that was amazing, Sandra. I saw that and I kept looking like, when is he going down? And then there's Deion Dawkins dragging him, right? Like he's just pulling him.
Yeah.
Oh yes, John. That's just what I was thinking. One aside there, because it's something that I'd like to bring up, and I brought it up before, but I'm going to do it again. Ty Johnson is the most underrated third down running back in the NFL. Josh Allen said it, and I believe Josh Allen, but all you have to do is look at his stats, touchdowns, yards, all of it. He does nothing but catch the ball. The guy is like another wide receiver on the field.
Yes.
And he's big enough that he can roll over people at the same time. Ty Johnson is so underrated and so underappreciated by. These are the things that you would hope the national media, when they talk about things, would talk about stuff like that. But they hardly ever mention him. Oh, yeah, he got this great touchdown or whatever. As a third down running back, there is no one better, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like your third down back is a better blocker. They use him more than the rookie. I mean, they're because they're different. We have 3 different
running backs.
3 different running backs. 3. So yeah, I love it. Chris, love my Bills. My 89-year-old dad, I think it's hanging on for them to win. Well, I hope it's this year, Chris. We're praying, fingers crossed, it's this year. Love that.
I do. Thank you for sharing that, because I think for many of us who have been lifelong Bills fans, we have family members I think about my dad whenever the Bills are in the playoffs. I think about my dad. It's like, Dad, I hope it's this year. I talk to him. We're a different fan base. And I appreciate thinking about Chris's 89-year-old. Was it grandfather? Did she say?
Dad.
Okay, her dad. So she's older.
So you don't have to read this, but this is just the grunt of the most part of this. Listen, we're not going to get that support. Like we understand it. They small market, whatever the case may be. It
That's
is
a
what it
great
is.
comment.
If you want to read it, you can. If you like, I mean, you don't have to.
None of the TV shows commentators support our Bills at all. It's aggravating, and so let the Bills do their thing, and know who's important. Bills Mafia. Bills fans are the best ever. Let's go Buffalo and ride the wagon. Thank you so much for this comment. It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Now,
but go ahead.
Can I bring up one other thing?
Yes, for sure.
I want to talk about time of possession in the Denver game, because that was huge. And I believe it was close to 42 minutes, close to 43 minutes that the Bills had the ball. And that is something that will also have to happen in the Ravens game. We need to have time of possession is extremely important. But here's the thing about time of possession. People think about it in terms of the offense, right? Like, you keep the offense on the field, and that takes that increases your time of possession, right? That's what that stat is. But I think sometimes we miss the boat in attributing that to the offense completely, because the defense is who gets the ball back to the offense.
Right.
And the Bills defense has been very good throughout the year in doing that, right? Fourth downs, get them off the field, hold them down. They've had how many in the last couple of games? Turnovers on downs, right? Possession turnover on down. So I just wanted to mention that, because everybody thinks about the offense when they think about time of possession, but the defense is just as important in my view, because it's the defense who hands the ball back over to the offense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. And you want Josh out there. Like this. That's why this game coming up is going to be so important, because time possession, I think, is going to be another important
crucial
piece.
Keep Derrick Henry off the field, and Lamar, thank you very much, which I'm sure they're saying the exact same thing about Josh Allen and James Cook.
Yeah, because they had a drive where they handed the ball off the whole series and got a touchdown and kept, who did they play? Pittsburgh off the field for a long time.
Yeah,
so that's going to be very, very important when it comes to this game coming up. And we're going to get into the Ravens.
Yes.
We're going to get into the Ravens. But the O-line, 200 yards rushing. And all we heard is the defense. And yeah, the Bills said no. And I want them to have that mindset going into this game against the Ravens.
Everything I just said about Ty Johnson, I'm going to say put it on repeat for the Bills' offensive line, because they are, in my view, and I don't care what PFF or any of these other people say, I think they have the best offensive line, especially now the way they're playing, in the league.
I do too.
In the league. I will stand by that, because they have kept Josh clean. They had Denver got 2 sacks on him.
So he has been sacked 16 times this year.
Exactly.
Going into that game, he was sacked 14. So
exactly. And so you look at it from the totality. You look at what James Cook has been able to do because of the offensive line.
And we don't talk about that we don't talk about that a lot. Like we came from, all we heard is that they just need a running back. If they have a running back, this team is going to be very explosive. We have 3 now.
Yeah, and the question is, do we have 3 because of our offensive line?
Hey, good question. I love it.
Because we're rocking and rolling today, because we are on our game.
Yes, for sure.
So what's next?
I mean, I think we can move past Denver. If you want, you have some other stuff to say about Denver. I think I am, but I think I'm done. But Mims,
I have one more thing to say.
Go ahead.
Patrick Surtain.
Oh gosh, Patrick. Who? Yeah.
That play that Curtis Samuels juked him out of his shoes made me just go, What you said, like everybody's blowing their horn about Denver's defense. Well, Patrick Surtain sure got a lesson from Curtis Samuel, didn't he?
He did. And I'm happy to see Curtis Samuel.
Yes, please, more. I have a feeling that's a Sammy Watkins situation. I think the reason we're not seeing him is because he has to be used judiciously because of his foot. I think that, chronic turf toe is debilitating.
It is.
Is Davis going to play? Oh, I mentioned this earlier, Chris, but yesterday it was shown on the injury report that Ray Davis was limited in practice, which means he has to be in at least level 4 of the concussion protocol, which suggests highly that he will be ready to play.
Yeah, and if he is ready to play, please have the Guardian cap on. I want him to wear the Guardian cap.
That would be helpful.
That was scary.
Yeah, and you could tell Josh felt so bad for heaving that ball at him that way. It was just that was not good. And this is one of those things where you get yourself caught in a bad situation, and those are when the bad injuries happen. And this concussion, you could see when he went down. I mean, he was completely knocked out.
His hands.
That's the other thing. It's that same reaction. I saw that and I just went, oh my God. That's that is a traumatic brain injury. That's how they're defined.
So I've heard both sides of this. I've heard someone say, because you remember Sean Payton was suspended.
Right.
Because Bounty Gate. Now, I'm not saying that's what it was, because I think Greg Roman was there. Was it Greg Roman, the defensive coordinator over there? Now, I don't know how much of those two collab on whatever back in St. days. But when I seen that came right back to me, because I think it was on One Bills Live. I think it was Chris that said if he would have not went the way he did, try to tackle him, he had a pick. He could have picked Josh off.
That was Chris. I saw that. Yep.
Yeah. So I was just like, even though I know get ball, see ball, whatever, or, trying to, if he would have caught it, you got to tackle. But someone said it was shoulder to shoulder. And I said, that wasn't shoulder to shoulder. I don't know what you guys are looking at. I said, that wasn't shoulder to shoulder. Come on. Right. So, anyway, we can move on. One more thing that I wanted to say about this Denver game is that the Bills were 1-5 in the red zone. Can't be that.
That was, you brought that up. Can't do that. Can't do that against the Ravens. Can't do it.
No. If anything, you have to capitalize. And we're going to get, I think in my last pod, I had some statistics of, and we normally don't do statistics on this show, but I thought this was kind of crazy, if I can find it, that the Bills and the Ravens are normally good. Let me see if I can find it. I'm looking. So these two teams get in the red zone 74% of the time. That's pretty good. And the Bills allow first downs at an alarming rate of 43%. So it's something's going to break in this Ravens game.
Yes.
And let's get into this Ravens game because
we can't wait.
You can't wait. I'm like so excited for this game.
Are we spilling the tea first?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I'm so excited about this game.
On track,
you have to keep me on track. Before we get into the great Ravens game, Jesus, we got some spill the tea. Let's spill the tea.
For me, come on, just spill that. Come on, just spill that tea for me. Spill no dirty tea. Yeah, tell me everything. Come on, just spill that.
I'm ready. That always puts me in such a good frame of mind. That music. I spilled last week first. You spilled because I'm adding on to yours.
Okay, what is my spill the tea, Robyn?
How about the Ravens fans?
Right. Listen, Ravens fans, I guys, there has been a lot of nastiness out there. And I don't want to go to where, if you're on Twitter, you see it. If you're on Facebook, you might see it. But I've seen a lot of it. And it's disgusting. And it's coming from also other fan bases that don't know Buffalo and all this other stuff. Like, I live here, Robyn lived here, and this is football. We are watching two amazing quarterbacks play. And I just want to keep it at that. Two amazing athletes play a game that they love. And someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. But I just want to watch it. That's it. That's it. That's it. I was going to go, I kind of detoured. I just wanted to go there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it a little step further because it's funny when we put our list together, usually T and I don't talk about what we're going to say for Spill the Tea.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it ends up like it is today because my issue was the same as yours in terms of the Ravens fan base. I don't like to make generalizations about any fan base because pretty much there's bad apples in every fan base. But one thing I did find funny, it's a little bit of an aside, but it needs to be told. It isn't just the fans that are nasty, even the media.
Yeah.
There's a guy, and his name is Jerry Coleman, if anybody cares. Yes, the reporter from Baltimore, who called Buffalo a city of losers. Really? And I laughed because I made this joke on X, and I thought it was pretty funny myself. So, because, you got to laugh at yourself, right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I lost my train of thought. What was I just saying?
Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. Thank you. I just needed a trigger. So Jerry Coleman, this arsehole from Baltimore, is a full-fledged journalist, media guy, covers the team, et cetera, et cetera. But when I went on X, I said, it must have to do with media people named Jerry being journalists.
Oh, you're so silly. You know what? And I totally forgot that other Jerry.
Yes, he's the Jerry Sullivan of Baltimore.
God.
And I could go on, but I won't. The point is, we have so much that we could go on and on about in terms of these things, but I'm done. I'm just done.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens fans are just they're another breed, and I mean they really are a different breed of bird.
I thought the Chiefs were. No. It is the Ravens fans, and if you guys understand what I'm saying, and hopefully you are reading what I'm saying because I'm not going to say it, it's just different. It's different. It's different.
It's been a different week.
It's no longer about football. It's about everything else besides it.
Between the MVP discussion,
me and Robyn touched on the MVP, and the MVP should go to the person that deserves it. I don't listen. If it doesn't, they do.
They both deserve it. So if they give it to Lamar again, who cares? I want a Lombardi. Screw the MVP stuff. Bring home a Lombardi.
And I'll say this when it comes to the MVP, and I'll leave it there, and we can move on to the Ravens game. I understand why some people are really, really bleeding for Josh Allen to get the MVP, and why some people don't want Lamar to get it again, third time, right? I think when you have certain things on your jacket, it helps you in the future. If Josh had MVP Josh Allen, it helps, right?
Well, yeah, it's like if you win an Oscar, they always refer to an actor as an Oscar-winning blah, blah, blah.
And you can't take that away from Josh. So that's the only reason why if you go hard for Josh getting the MVP, I mean, I don't be in spaces saying MVP goes to Josh because he doesn't do. I don't put one down to bring one up. I think Josh deserves it. If he gets it, awesome. If he doesn't, okay, fine too.
Move on.
Yeah, I mean, and for people who say that Josh feels is more, Josh wants this MVP more than he wants anything else is false. You're trying to push a narrative that's not even out there.
Says that is completely discredited in my mind, because no one cares less about the MVP than Josh Allen. I can assure you of that. He does not care. He wants to win a Super Bowl. Did you all see the Mafia Collective? So yes. Yeah. Thanks, Chris, for that comment.
Here's the thing about that, and again, we're gonna move on. I think if you're just an ass, you're just that. No amount of money is going to change who you are. He is just that.
He's not a nice guy.
He's not a nice guy. And I love that Bills Mafia do that. I love that we do that. But you're not going to change somebody who is just an ass. He doesn't care that you did that to his own. Thank you so much. I'm still going to be that, regardless of what you did. I'm still going to be who I am. And he's still going to be that. Like, we're nice, but he's just not nice. And it's okay. You don't have to be nice, Jerry. Okay? That's fine. So, I mean, that's enough with that guy.
Give him more than he deserves.
Yes, we are. So let's move on. Next up is the big game against the Ravens. They're coming to Highmark at 6:30. Bills Mafia, I'm going to need you to be loud. It's going to be cold. God bless you guys that stand out there in that game. Like, oh, I couldn't do it. I can't be out there with you, Bills Mafia, but I'll be at home screaming my life out because we need this game. The mission is not over. It's not over. It's going to be cold as hell. Single digits. That's what they're saying. The Bills are underdogs in their own freaking building.
They're undefeated at home.
But they're underdogs in their building. Okay.
Well, that's why we like the mental setup for this, because I talk about the mental shit, right? Mentally, the vibe for this game is completely different than the Denver game.
Yeah.
Completely different.
This is bully ball.
This is bully ball. This game is going to boil down to whoever can beat each other up the most.
This game scares me too. Not scared, because I don't want to say scared. This game is one of those games to, like, when you play your divisional player game opponent where y'all just smack each other in the face. That's this type of game.
Well, this game has been on a collision course for reality since the beginning of the season, basically. Mm-hmm. Both teams. Hi, Christopher. Thank you for joining us. Both teams, I think, have a lot on the line. There's a different level of mental pressure that they had in the Denver game that is different in this game, mm-hmm. because you pointed it out. You used the perfect term to describe the Ravens: big bad bullies. Mm-hmm. Big bad bullies. Triple B, like Big Baller Bean. We got big bad bullies from Baltimore. How about that? Big bad bullies from Baltimore. That's what we've got to deal with. And if you want to beat a team like that, then you better be ready to fight. Mm-hmm. And you cannot roll over and get into a panic like the Buffalo Sabres do every time they go out on the ice. And good game last night, by the way, because they actually pulled out a victory.
Yeah, I seen that. Oh, and you know what? Don't worry about it. We're going to win. Don't you worry about it. It's your birthday. The next day, you're going to be celebrating, Fulton. Don't worry about it. I seen that. Great win for them. Awesome. Now let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But like you said, big bad bully. And you know what you have to do to a bully? You have to punch them in their face.
In the face. which is part of the reason why when you were talking about wanting, thinking that maybe you want to have the defense out there to make a statement first. Now it's so funny because you got me on this track. So blame T about this issue because she's the one that brought it up. But it was such a good point that you made last week. And this week, I feel differently than you do. I kind of wish our offense would go out on the field first.
Oh, this game?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Explain
I do
it.
because
explain it.
I think, I think that psychologically, if they get out on the field and they can take time of possession, do one of those 7-minute drives down the field and score a touchdown, that is going to set the tone for the whole game. The whole game, in my view, because it's it's mentally such a huge game. It's gonna, whichever team comes out and is calm and focused and driven is probably going to be able to win the game. Because this game is going to like you said, it's bully ball. It's smack or be smacked. And we have a powerful offense. And our goal is to keep Lamar off the field as much as we can, right?
Yes.
So why would we let him have the ball first?
That's true. And besides Lamar, you got that big guy back there, Derrick Henry.
I don't even want to talk about him.
And here's the thing about, and I know it's Derrick Henry against the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens against the Buffalo Bills. And I know that big guy back there is a problem, but he's also a problem for other teams. He's also a problem for the league. He's not just a problem for Buffalo. He's a problem now because we're playing him. Of course. But here's my thing that I think the Bills is going to have to do. And I know gap control is going to be very, very important in this game. Playing your one, and when they say 111th, they know what that means. They're going to have to. This game is testing gap control and your 111th. It's testing it to all means. Derrick Henry and freaking Lamar is going to test your discipline football.
You have to play mistake-free football, and the Bills will need a turnover, at least one turnover that produces a touchdown.
Yeah.
Eat the clock is right. Eat the clock. Eat the clock. As long as you can keep Lamar off the field and Derrick Henry off the field, the better. I
seen this stat. It said when Derrick Henry rushes for 82 yards or less, the Ravens lose.
Yeah, and get this. The Bills, if you go back into the stat sheets, which I, again, don't like to do, because you can see it with your eyes, right? You can see it. But numbers-wise, the Bills probably are one of the best teams in defending Henry. Now, recency says no because of what he did in the game this year. But
Week 4.
If you go back, I think I read there were 6 games that have been played between the teams since Sean McDermott took over as head coach. And in those games against Derrick Henry, that is, okay, because he also played for the Titans. So in those games, there were only 2 out of 6 times that Derrick Henry ran for more than 60 yards. So 4 out of 6 times, the Bills had a defense that figured him out.
Okay.
And that's where, this game is going to be won and lost in the trenches.
Yeah.
And the offensive line, again, doesn't get enough credit. But what you said is absolutely true. They're going to have to create some holes for James Cook to get through. They're going to have to create a lot of stuff. Also for Josh Allen, because I think Josh is going to run more in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. They did some quarterback runs last game.
There's going to be more.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, and also too, everybody likes to bring up that week 4, and of course it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And Josh was coming, as we know, and I forgot who broke it, that Josh had a broken hand. So they weren't running Josh as much because he had a broken hand. So this game, for one, I'll say this for one. This is not part of our notes, but I'll say this. Sean McDermott, when he's embarrassed, he won't do the same thing he's done before. Like the Bills got embarrassed. Yes, he definitely learns from his mistakes. They got embarrassed, flat out embarrassed. And I don't think that he wants that sample again.
He doesn't want that stigma.
Yeah.
He does not.
I think this is definitely going to be a different game. I think this is going to be, like you said, it starts in the trenches. It's also, for me, it starts with Ed Oliver. It starts with Ed on down. We got Jordan Phillips. We got some big bodies up there. Now we have Jefferson as well. We didn't have those big bodies before.
It's true. It's true.
So
can I bring up my point that I talked to you about before about the refs?
Yes.
Okay, so we all know that Baltimore is a team that commits a lot of penalties. They're not particularly disciplined. So I found some interesting stats. Okay, but these are the ones you guys are going to want to hear. The refs. Okay, they announced each group. And as I mentioned, I think it was last week, we were talking about how they select referees for the playoffs because they're not the same teams that went from game to game. It's a collection of the best rated refs. And so they all get put together in different groups. So we have for this game, a Mr. Carl Cheffers, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Cheffers. Mm-hmm. Now, this guy, apparently, he hasn't worked any Bills games. Okay, he has not worked any this season. So they broke down how many penalties he called in the games that he called over the course of the season. He called 73 penalties on the home team and 91 on the visitors. So there's somewhat of a discrepancy and a bias for whatever reason. And I don't want to get into the weeds too far on that, but that's kind of a significant difference that the visitors get more penalties than the home team. And furthermore, the home team, when he is a ref, the home team has won 73% of the time. So that's kind of interesting. And it's good to know. The other one, because we need to pay attention to this one in particular. He averaged 10 calls per game. That was his average. So
10 offensive, right?
No, 10 penalties.
Oh, 10 penalties. Okay.
He would average 10 penalties overall in a game. Now, that being an average, there's games where he would call more than that. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how the spread is. But the most penalty that he called the most was offensive holding.
Gotcha.
And we need to be aware of that, right? Like the guys on the offensive line cannot get handsy. They have to be.
The coaches also let them know.
Yes.
I mean, it's so crazy. Prior to all of this, watching a game was just watching a game. Now we have privy to.
Now we have to analyze the refs.
Yes.
I'm giving stats about refs. What am I doing?
It's cool. It's cool because I think at an alarming stat, because us Bills fans, we see what happens to Chiefs because the refs are making themselves part of a game.
They don't want to be the narrative, and far too often they are the narrative. And you and I have talked about this many times. In my big beef, and I'll bring it up again, is why do we need analytics on refs? Yeah. Because why do we need to have these refs be so different from one group to the next? There needs to be more consistency. So one group shouldn't be calling an average of 10 a game while the other one's calling 20. Right. There should be some consistency between those groups, and there are not. Yeah. And particularly now, we don't know what to expect because we don't have the same group of refs together.
Right, right. Yeah. Let's just hope they're not on the TV often. Okay. I mean, if you're gonna call it, but don't be on the TV. That one game we seen, it was ref. Oh my God, it was
The pre-snap
it
penalties.
was yeah. So let's
Sean
just.
Hockley, Ed
He
Hockley's
sucks.
son.
Yeah, he's bad. Oh, he's
Thank God
gross.
he wasn't. I looked, and he's not. He didn't get a chance to ref any of these. If he refs in the Super Bowl, I'll just.
Yeah, you already know what that's going to be about. But yeah. Anyway,
All right,
I got I got the Bills have an advantage. Brandon Stevens, right corner. If you have a big body on him, like Coleman or a Cooper, I think the Bills should take advantage of that cornerback. I have a question for you.
Oh God.
Who is your X factor in this game? And if you guys want to put it in the comments, you can too. Who or what? Who or what is your X factor in this game?
The what for me is the weather.
Okay.
That's the what. Because the X factor in this game, you don't know what it's going to be like with that football when it weighs like a ton to try to throw it through the air. And I understand there may be some snow flurries and that sort of thing, but the cold is going to make a difference. And the cold could be an X factor for certain people. As far as a player goes, I think Shakir is going to be an X factor in this game and needs to be an X factor in this game. That guy has the stickiest hands, and it's like he covers himself in body oil or something because he squeezes himself through people like nobody I've ever seen.
And Shakir played maybe 2 or 3 series in the last game, and because he got hurt because his ankle, right? I think it was his ankle. So he didn't play a lot.
Exactly.
Bobby said, I got James Cook as my X factor. Okay. They are a hard team to run on, but he did run on them the last game. But mine is the tight ends. I think that middle of the field, they have a good linebacker and they have a okay linebacker. So I think for me, it's going to be Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. I think if they get off, I think the weak spot will be their linebacker position. So
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Cooper. So Robert, he has Coop. That.
Robert.
I like that as well.
That's a good one because we've not seen a game where we've really had Coop appear like a breakout game. You know, he's been very good.
Right.
Christopher, Von Miller, and Eddie keep number 8 in the pocket. Yes. Amen. Thank you.
Von came out. I guess someone said that he kind of leaked what the Bills were going to do, but I don't know if it's a leak. It's whatever. He said that they were going to try to contain Lamar Jackson, like a cage in type of a thing.
He talked about it. I saw that.
Yeah. I don't know if that was leaked. I mean, he just talked about it. I mean,
even if it was leaked, sometimes they intentionally leak stuff.
Yes.
You know, come on, people. I mean, they're not. Von's not stupid. He's 35.
Yeah.
Ty Johnson will expose their linebackers. Yes. This is the same thing that we said about the Denver game as well, because Denver's defense was also elite. And look at what we did to them. So Mark says, as a Rays fan, Cooper gave us a problem on the Browns. Oh, you can also pick matchups because our corners pick a side and don't travel. So Cooper or on Stevens worries me.
Yeah, I said
that.
Yep.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mark.
That's very good information. And I do think that there will be opportunities on the outside. And we have to hope that Keon Coleman is a little more focused than he was in the Patriots game.
Yeah.
Because he gave me a little bit of heartburn because he seemed very lackadaisical in that game.
He also had
thank you.
He also had 2 or 3 good catches in the first game. So you know, he's no longer a rookie. Once you start playing these playoff games, half of the season, that rookie stuff is out the building. Now you're not a vet, but you're no longer a rookie now. So
that's right.
Yeah. So, what did you say here? Must be what?
A narrative behind
behind.
It could be.
It could be.
They set things up. It's very hard to say what any of that really means. But I also agree with what Vaughn said in terms of there's a danger if you focus too much on the cage
and not going after him.
Exactly. You got to go after him. It's like trying to tackle Josh Allen. These guys are very similar.
Yeah. Different body types for sure.
But they're different.
But they're mobile. They are
very mobile, slippery quarterbacks. And I will say one thing that Lamar has done. Lamar has become so much more accurate in his passing game. He is dead on accurate now. That was not the case even up to a few years ago. He was struggling.
He couldn't throw outside the numbers, they said. So, and now he can throw everywhere. So, Chris said, "Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say turnovers. That's the other thing. There were no turnovers at all in the Denver game, which was kind of interesting on either side of the ball. But with Baltimore, I truly believe if the offense comes out on the field first and the defense plays them, then get a turnover right away. Get an early turnover in this game and capture the momentum and never let go."
If Mark is still in the comments, I would love to know this because they say Chris said there's no Zay Flowers of right now. He's still injured. So Chris,
that will help us a lot.
Yeah, Chris, if you had not Chris, Mark, is it Mark? Mark, if you have any information and can let us know, that would be awesome. But yeah, this game is gonna come down to, like Nia Robyn said, and everybody is saying, the trenches. It's going to come down to each defense, each offense getting in there. I mean, the Bills can play bully ball. They're not a finesse team. They're not a Miami. They can get down there. They can play.
That's why they didn't have any all pros, right? It's everybody grinding.
Yes, for sure.
And that to me is the hallmark of a really good team.
Yes.
Because no one player stands out. We have a lot of very good players, but it's not a team with a roster that has names all over the place.
One guy that we may see again is Trey White.
Yes, I thought about that.
Yeah. He might be playing. Mark said it's pretty shocked if Zay plays.
Reading the way Harbaugh is talking about it in the diagnosis, probably 1 to 2 weeks away. Even if he plays, is probably mostly a decoy. Yes, which is what we did with Curtis Samuel, I think, a lot this year. You know, he was injured and they didn't throw him the ball, but they had to account for him. Same thing with Amari Cooper now too. You have to account for Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Julian, Robyn had hit on this earlier that she wants to get the ball first, and
I do. I want to dictate the first drive. And if defense comes out first, then they need to dictate the drive by getting a turnover.
Yeah.
But I do. I think I really think it would be one of those games. I usually prefer to defer, but I'm not so sure in this game. It might be better not to.
Yeah. Well, either way, guys, it is going to be a game. It's going to be epic. We got two. It's going to be lit. We got two elite quarterbacks playing on Sunday.
Yes.
And one of them happens to be one of our guys.
Yes.
Even though there's a lot of stuff going on around this game, let's just enjoy it. Let's try. I know. As fans,
thank you for saying that, because that was where I was going to go to wrap this up. I really hope that we can all enjoy what we have now in Josh Allen, in this team, in Sean McDermott, in what we've got now is very special. Josh Allen is very special. And so we get to play in a game that's probably going to be like the game of the year, arguably. You've got two people that have been lockstep in the MVP talk. You've got two teams that have never, well, at least in the recent past, gotten past that hump of KC. And two teams that have so much on the line. It's, the Denver Broncos, it was quaint for them. Okay, yeah, you didn't win, but we had a good season. You could see the future's bright for Denver, all of that. But we're not at that point. Both teams, both Baltimore and Buffalo, have teams that are designed to win now. Yes. So let's go. We did a retool on a roster that nobody thought was going to do anything, and look at what we're talking about.
Exactly.
All right, I'm done.
No, you're good. So, I mean, you don't have to read this when I put it up. So that being said, Mafia, it's time. It is time to turn up on Sunday at 6:30. It is time.
Change the narrative. Loser stuff.
Yeah.
This is the time we need to enjoy the moment. We really do. Because it wasn't that long ago when we had 17 years of a playoff drought and our team sucked. So we have a very good football team. We have a very good coaching staff. The time is right. It's like, if not now, when?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Where would you rather be? What number did Josh wear in college?
17.
Oh, okay. I just find it odd that he broke. What was our streak?
17 years of drought, playoff drought.
And Josh wears what?
17.
It's just crazy.
And he wore that at Wyoming. That was his number at Wyoming. And funny little aside, the Wyoming quarterbacks, since he left, all wear 17. They didn't retire his number, so every quarterback since has been wearing 17.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But you know what, guys? We got to get out of here. It's always fun talking to you, Robyn. It's always fun.
I love you.
I love you too.
Go Bills.
Come out. You show up. We appreciate you for sure. But it's time, guys. It's time.
We got to do it now.
We got to do it.
I have confidence in this game. I have much more confidence than I thought I would have. Yes. I do.
Because you're talking it out now. So it feels good.
This.
Yes, for sure. But guys, peace out. We're out every Thursday. Check us out. We are here. We're on the Build in Buffalo Network. This is Tea Time with Robyn. She is Robyn. I am out. We are out. Peace, y'all. And go
Bills.
Peace, y'all.